Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. What if I told you that outsmarting everyone around you doesn't require a genius-level IQ, endless hours of hustle, or some secret hack? What if the key to navigating life with clarity, purpose, and an unshakable edge lies in a philosophy that's nearly 2,000 years old? That's right, I'm talking about Stoicism, a mindset born in ancient Greece and Rome that's more relevant today than ever before. This isn't about manipulating others or clawing your way to the top. It's about mastering yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your action so you can thrive in a chaotic world that seems designed to throw you off balance. In this deep dive, we're unpacking 9 powerful Stoic principles that will give you the upper hand in relationships, career, personal growth, and beyond. Stick around, because by the end of this journey, you'll have a sharper mind, a stronger sense of purpose, and practical tools to apply this ancient wisdom to your modern life. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore timeless strategies that can transform the way you live. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with a principle that's at the heart of Stoic philosophy: emotional control. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced war, betrayal, and a crumbling empire, put it best when he wrote in his personal journal, later published as Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about becoming a cold, unfeeling machine. It's about recognizing that while you can't control what happens to you, you can absolutely control how you respond. And that's where your true power lies. Think about a high-pressure situation you've been in recently, maybe a heated argument with a friend, a stressful deadline at work, or an unexpected crisis that threw your day into chaos. Most people in those moments let their emotions take over. They snap, they panic, they say things they later regret. But the Stoics, like Epictetus, another giant of the philosophy, taught us to flip the script. Emotions aren't your boss, they are something to observe, not obey. When you master emotional control, you're the one who stays calm while others lose their temper. You're the one who keeps your head when everyone else is spiraling. And in those moments, you become the person others look to for guidance. Here's how this plays out in real life. Imagine you're in a meeting and a coworker throws a passive-aggressive jab your way. The room tenses up, and you feel that familiar heat rising in your chest and your embarrassment, maybe even a little fear. Your instinct is to fire back, to defend yourself, to escalate. But a Stoic pauses. You take a deep breath and ask yourself 2 simple questions. Is this within my control? Will this matter in a month, a year, or a decade? More often than not, the answer is no. That clarity lets you respond with composure, maybe even a measured smile, while your coworker fumbles to keep up with your calm. This ability to stay steady isn't just about looking good, it's about making better decisions. When you're angry, anxious, or overwhelmed, your judgment gets cloudy. You're more likely to overreact, to make choices that feel good in the moment, but hurt you in the long run. Emotional control clears that fog. It lets you think strategically, act with integrity, and maintain your dignity even when the pressure's on. In a world where instant gratification and knee-jerk reactions are the norm, this is a superpower. It keeps you grounded, ensuring you're always operating from a place of strength, not weakness. So how do you build this skill? Start small. The next time you feel your emotions bubbling up, whether it's frustration in traffic or irritation with a family member, pause. Take 3 slow breaths. Ask yourself those 2 questions. Is this in my control? Will this matter long term? Then choose your response deliberately. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, and you'll find yourself standing out as someone who's not just smart, but wise in a way that commands respect. One of the most liberating lessons Stoicism offers is this: focus solely on what you can control, and let go of everything else. It sounds simple, but in practice, it's a game changer. Most of us spend way too much energy worrying about things we can't influence: what other people think, how the future might unfold, mistakes we made years ago. This obsession with the uncontrollable keeps us trapped in cycles of anxiety, frustration, and self-doubt. But the Stoics, like Seneca, taught us to break free by redirecting our focus to what's actually in our hands: our thoughts, our actions, our responses. Let's break this down with a real-world example. Imagine you're at work, and there's a rumor going around that layoffs might be coming. Your colleagues are in a frenzy, endlessly speculating, stressing over what the CEO might decide, venting about how unfair it all feels. Meanwhile, you take a different approach. You can't control whether layoffs happen, but you can control how you prepare. So you double down on your performance, update your resume, and start networking for new opportunities. While others are distracted by fear, you're building resilience and setting yourself up for success, no matter what happens. This principle doesn't just apply to big moments, it's a daily practice. Think about how often you get worked up over things you can't change. A friend who cancels plans last minute, a delayed flight, or even the weather ruining your weekend. These frustrations eat up mental energy, leaving you drained and scattered. But when you adopt a Stoic mindset, you shift your focus. You can't control your friend's schedule, but you can decide how to spend your free evening. You can't control the airline, but you can bring a good book to make the wait enjoyable. You can't control the rain, but you can choose to cozy up with a movie instead of sulking. This shift gives you a massive edge. By letting go of the uncontrollable, your energy becomes laser-focused. Your mind gets quieter, your decisions more deliberate. While others are stuck in cycles of worry, you're moving forward with clarity. It's not about ignoring problems, it's about tackling them strategically, without the baggage of unnecessary stress. Picture two people competing for a promotion. One spends their days complaining about office politics and stressing over what the boss thinks. The other focuses entirely on delivering exceptional work, improving their skills, and building relationships. Who's more likely to come out on top? The one who's not wasting energy on what they can't control. Here's a practical tip to make this principle stick. The next time you catch yourself stressing about something, write it down. Then draw two columns labeled "in my control" and the other "not in my control." Sort your concerns into those columns. If it's not in your control, let it go. Redirect your energy to the things you can influence. This simple exercise will not only make you more focused, but also position you as someone others admire for your clarity and effectiveness. Here's a hard truth: growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Most people go out of their way to avoid discomfort, whether it's the physical strain of a tough workout, the emotional vulnerability of a hard conversation, or the mental challenge of learning something new. They take the easy road, sticking to routines that feel safe and cozy. But the Stoics saw discomfort differently. They viewed it as a forge, a place where your mind and character are strengthened through resistance. If you want to outsmart the crowd, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Discomfort is where resilience is built. Think about the last time you pushed through something to maybe. You powered through a grueling project, had a difficult but necessary talk with a loved one, or stuck to a new habit even when it felt like a slog. That struggle made you stronger, didn't it? The Stoics knew this intuitively. They practiced voluntary discomfort, things like fasting, sleeping on hard floors, or braving the cold, not because they were masochists, but because they were training for life's inevitable challenges. If you can handle discomfort by choice, you'll be far less rattled when it shows up uninvited. Let's apply this to your life. Say you've been wanting to get in shape, but the idea of waking up early for a workout feels like torture. Most people would hit snooze and stay in bed. But a Stoic leans in. You set your alarm, drag yourself to the gym, and push through the burn. It's not fun, but with each session, you get stronger, not just physically, but mentally. You prove to yourself that you can endure, that you're not ruled by fleeting feelings of discomfort. That same grit carries over to other areas of your life. When a work deadline looms or a personal challenge arises, you've already trained your mind to push through resistance. This principle isn't just about physical discomfort, it's emotional and mental, too. Maybe you've been avoiding a tough conversation with a friend because you're scared of conflict. Leaning into that discomfort, having the talk, even if it's messy, builds your emotional resilience. Or perhaps you've been putting off learning a new skill because you're afraid of looking foolish at first. Embracing the awkwardness of being a beginner sharpens your mental toughness. Every time you face discomfort head-on, you become more adaptable, more capable, more unshakable. In a world obsessed with instant pleasure, this ability to thrive in discomfort is rare, and it sets you apart. While others flinch at adversity, you see it as a teacher. You're not controlled by your impulses or deterred by fear. Instead, You become the person others look up to, one who's prepared for whatever life throws their way. Here's a challenge to get you started. This week, pick one small discomfort to embrace. Skip a meal and feel the hunger. Take a cold shower and stand there without flinching. Tackle a task you've been avoiding because it feels too hard. Notice how each choice makes you feel stronger, more in control. You're not just toughening up, you're proving to yourself that you don't need perfect conditions to thrive. Confidence is great, but confidence without humility can easily tip into arrogance. On the flip side, too much humility can make you shrink into insecurity. The Stoics mastered a delicate balance, staying humble while remaining confident. This combination is a quiet power that makes you stand out in a world full of loud egos and fragile self-doubt. Humility starts with self-awareness. A Stoic knows their strengths, but also acknowledges their limits. You don't need to boast or seek validation, because your confidence comes from within. You are secure in who you are. This security lets you listen, learn, and adapt, qualities that others often overlook in their rush to prove themselves. At the same time, you don't downplay your abilities. Humility isn't about diminishing yourself. It's about recognizing your worth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. Picture this in action. You're in a team meeting, and a project you led just smashed its goals. While others might jump in to take credit, you share the win with your team, acknowledging their contributions while quietly owning your role. You don't need to puff out your chest. Your work speaks for itself. That balance makes you approachable and respected. People trust someone who's confident, but not overbearing, who leads without needing to dominate. Humility also makes you a better learner. When you accept that you don't know everything, you stay open to new ideas and perspectives. While others are blinded by their egos, you're growing, evolving, and adapting. Think about how this plays out in a competitive environment. Someone who's always trying to prove they're the best often misses out on feedback that could make them better. But you, with your Stoic balance, take criticism in stride, using it to improve while staying grounded in your strengths. The key here is to see humility and confidence as partners, not opposites. Together, they create a grounded individual who doesn't just succeed, but inspires others to follow their example. Practice this by reflecting daily. What did I do well today? Where can I improve? This simple habit keeps you anchored, ensuring you shine without ever losing your footing. In moments of crisis or complexity, most people let their emotions take the wheel. Fear, anger, or desire clouds their judgment, leading to impulsive decisions they later regret. The Stoics took a different approach, prioritizing logic and reason, especially when the stakes are high. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. Emotions are valuable, but it does mean examining them before acting. Let's say you're facing a tough decision at work, whether to take on a risky new project that could either skyrocket your career or flop spectacularly. Your gut might be screaming with fear of failure, or maybe excitement at the chance for glory. Those emotions are real, but they're not reliable guides. A Stoic pauses and asks, am I reacting out of fear or excitement? Or am I thinking clearly about the best path forward? You weigh the pros and cons, consider your long-term goals, and make a choice based on reason, not just feeling. This logical approach gives you a distinct advantage in a high-stakes negotiation. While others might get defensive or overly eager, you stay calm and strategic. You analyze the situation objectively, making moves that lead to better outcomes. This mindset isn't just for big decisions, it applies to everyday life too. When someone criticizes you, logic helps you respond thoughtfully instead of lashing out. When you're juggling priorities, reason keeps you from overcommitting or wasting energy on trivial drama. Logic doesn't eliminate emotion, it puts it in its proper place. By understanding your feelings without being ruled by them, you gain a clarity and composure that others often lack. In a world driven by snap reactions, this ability sets you apart as someone others turn to for guidance. The next time you're faced with a decision, take a moment to step back. Let logic, not fleeting emotions, lead the way. You'll navigate life with precision, leaving others wondering how you always seem one step ahead. Patience isn't exactly a sexy trait, but it's one of the most powerful tools in a Stoic's arsenal. While others rush into decisions, react impulsively, or demand instant results, a Stoic practices deliberate patience. They understand that life unfolds on its own timeline, and the greatest rewards often come to those who can wait with intention. Patience doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It's an active choice to control your impulses and recognize when to act versus when to wait. This deliberate approach gives you an edge because it lets you see the bigger picture, something others often miss in their haste. Take financial investments, for example. Impatient people chase quick wins, jumping on trends only to crash when the hype fades. A Stoic takes a long-term view, researching carefully, investing steadily, and trusting the process. Over time, their patience pays off literally. This principle also applies to relationships and personal growth. Building trust with a friend or mastering a new skill takes time. While others might give up when progress feels slow, you stay committed, knowing that meaningful outcomes require persistence. Even in conflict, patience is a weapon. Imagine a heated argument. While others might lash out, you wait, choosing your words carefully. Your calm diffuses the tension, leaving others scrambling to match your composure. In a culture that glorifies speed and instant gratification, deliberate patience is a quiet strength. It teaches you to endure challenges with grace and approach opportunities with wisdom. Practice it by delaying a reaction. Next time you're tempted to snap back in an argument, count to 5 first, or commit to a long-term goal and trust the process, even when it feels slow. You'll not only outsmart the impatient crowd, but also find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. You've heard the saying, actions speak louder than words. The Stoics live this principle to the fullest. While others try to persuade, argue, or impress with their words, a Stoic focuses on leading by example. They know that genuine influence doesn't come from what you say, but from what you do. When you live with integrity, discipline, and purpose, people notice. You don't need to announce your values. Your actions reflect them. Think about a workplace scenario. Some colleagues might talk a big game, bragging about their skills, promising big results, or hyping up their ambitions. But a Stoic quietly delivers. You show up on time, work efficiently, and handle challenges with poise. Over time, your consistent actions earn you respect and trust, far more than any self-promotion could. People don't follow the loudest voice. They follow the one who proves their worth through deeds. This silent leadership creates a ripple effect. When others see your discipline, they're inspired to raise their own standards. Your calm demeanor in stressful situations becomes a model for others to emulate. Without saying a word, you become a source of influence and guidance. This principle is rooted in the Stoic belief that we can't control others, but we can control ourselves. By focusing on your own actions, you indirectly shape the behavior of those around you. In a world full of noise and empty promises, this quiet form of leadership stands out. You don't need to talk about your values, just live them. Whether it's showing up consistently, handling adversity with grace, or treating others with respect, your actions will speak volumes. Over time, you'll find that your influence grows not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Life is messy. Challenges pop up when you least expect them, whether it's a career setback, a personal loss, or a small daily frustration. Most people see these obstacles as roadblocks, reasons to complain, procrastinate, or give up. But the Stoics saw them differently. Marcus Aurelius captured this mindset perfectly when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, obstacles aren't just problems, they're opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resourceful. Let's say you lose your job unexpectedly. Most people would spiral, blaming the company, dwelling on the unfairness, or letting fear take over. A Stoic takes a different path. You ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this moment to pivot, improve, or explore new opportunities? Maybe you take the time to upskill, start a passion project, or network for a better role. What looks like a failure to others becomes a new beginning for you. This mindset applies to smaller frustrations too. A missed appointment becomes a chance to practice patience. A harsh critique from a boss becomes an opportunity to improve. Instead of resisting the obstacle, you lean into it, asking what it can teach you. This approach doesn't just help you overcome challenges, it transforms them into tools for success. Over time, you build a reputation as someone who's unshakable, someone who turns adversity into advantage. Others will wonder how you always seem to come out stronger, no matter what life throws at you. The truth is simple. You've trained your mind to see every obstacle as part of the path. The next time you face a setback, pause and reframe it. Ask, how can this make me better? You'll be amazed at how this shift in perspective turns challenges into stepping stones. Most people spend their lives chasing approval, whether it's through social media likes, career accolades, or societal expectations. This constant pursuit of external validation leaves them vulnerable to disappointment, manipulation, and self-doubt. The Stoics took a radically different approach, prioritizing inner peace above all else. When you cultivate inner peace, you become immune to the opinions and judgments of others. You're no longer swayed by criticism or inflated by praise. Imagine how freeing that would feel, to live without the need for validation, to make decisions based on what you know is right, not what others expect. This isn't about ignoring feedback, it's about filtering it through your own principles. When you're at peace with yourself, you can take criticism constructively without letting it shake your core. You can accept praise graciously without letting it go to your head. This independence lets you stay focused on your values and goals, rather than getting distracted by the noise around you. Inner peace also transforms your relationships. When you're not constantly seeking approval, you approach others from a place of authenticity, not neediness. You're not trying to prove anything or win anyone over, you're just being yourself. This makes your connections deeper, more meaningful, and less fraught with misunderstandings. People are drawn to your calm confidence, your lack of pretense. In a world obsessed with appearances and external success, those who prioritize inner peace stand out as rare and magnetic. Here's how to start cultivating this. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on your values. What matters most to you? Are your actions aligning with those principles? When you're clear on your inner compass, external noise loses its power. You'll find a level of contentment and freedom that few ever achieve, and that, ultimately, is the greatest victory of all. The wisdom of Stoicism isn't about flashy displays or outsmarting others for personal gain. It's about mastering yourself. These 9 principles: emotional control, focusing on what you can control, embracing discomfort, balancing humility and confidence, using logic over emotion, practicing patience, leading by example, turning obstacles into opportunities, and prioritizing inner peace give you the tools to rise above the noise. You'll gain clarity, confidence, and influence, not because you're trying to dominate, but because you've built a foundation of inner strength. True power comes from within. When you harness these Stoic strategies, you inspire others without even trying. You become the person who stays calm in a crisis, who turns setbacks into comebacks, who lives with purpose and integrity. If these insights have sparked something in you, take action today. Pick one principle and start applying it, whether it's pausing before reacting, embracing a small discomfort, or letting go of something you can't control. You've got the tools to go build a life that's not just successful, but deeply fulfilling. Stay focused, stay grounded, and keep growing. If this message resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you create the life you truly deserve.